Hey, good evening, everyone. Hey, I had a request to do a video, a topic, from a psychological standpoint of being alone. And it was actually a friend of mine who requested this. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting, but we do have a lot to go through, so I kind of don't want to waste any more time. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it, okay? The topic today we're going to talk about is being alone. Okay, and that's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. Okay, so really, what is being alone? Okay, well, it's downtime for reflection of yourself. Okay, there's an importance of time spent alone, and self-reflection and introspection, and things like that. What it allows you to do is it allows you to reflect on yourself and your life, your decisions openly and honestly, about anything without any type of, a bias or, outside influence or anything like that. And this is also great for, sort of keeping your identity, in check, your self-identity. A lot of times we get kind of caught up, in the chaos of life, and it just, we forget to really stop and, take a few minutes to, check on ourselves. But also, another thing too is being alone, it can be beneficial for building, character, for building a great character. Reflection time, like I said, it gives you the time to more or less kind of seek or decide what you want out of life. What is it you're looking for? What is it that maybe, you're kind of feeling, or you're doubting, or you're just maybe not quite sure, where you want to be, or, exactly what you want. So that is important. And also this is beneficial to, your future, or, relationships, your moral compass as a person. So, I think that's really, really important. And like I said, a lot of the chaos in life, especially, people that, they socially, interact, and they don't take that alone kind of downtime for themselves. They really don't know what they want out of life, and so that kind of hinders them, from growing as a person, or, really living life to, their fair advantage. And also really the sense of being alone, it's basically you're spending time with the most significant person in your life, and that is yourself. Okay, so, I can't stress that enough. And, it does ring true. You just kind of have to get to that point. A couple other things I want to go through, too, is I want to kind of hit both the negative and the positive, kind of notes on this, too. But I'm going to start with the negative first. Negative perceptions, okay, and impressions for being alone. Oftentimes, we equate being alone with being lonely, or, it is viewed as social isolation. Okay, it is implying that, we are not participating in life. It is implying that we as a human being are somehow, defective, that we are not engaging life, is in a social standpoint as society expects us to. And that's kind of sad because everybody's not really the same. But as far as that goes, it can make someone feel, as though they are defective. Okay, an example that I want to use here is social media. Okay, we all use it. I'm on it every day, so I'm not going to lie about that. But basically what it is when we hide behind the facade or the illusion, of social media, we can be whoever we want to be. Okay, we don't have to be who we really are, and it protects us, really. It hinders us and it stops us from really interacting with others, in a real life fashion. Okay, so, even though we're, on social media, and it kind of makes us feel like, maybe we're in the in crowd a little bit and that sort of thing, a dependency can start to stem from this. Okay, and really what's going to happen is we rely on subconscious communication, okay, in order to make us feel better, that we can stay whoever it is that, we're trying to portray. Okay, and I do also want to say this too, that, being alone and loneliness are not the same thing. Okay, loneliness basically implies that we need to have someone or something, with us to help us fill, that kind of void, or, whatever part we are lacking, in life. And another thing too, is that we also need this to feel secure. Okay, loneliness, it's basically saying that we can't be happy with just our own company. Okay, you know, and that sucks kind of, you know, but basically your own company is never really enough. You know, that's kind of the main thing, you know, with loneliness. So, you know, and a lot of times this too, it can spawn depression, it can spawn you know, anxiety attacks, panic attacks, you know, that sort of thing. And it's very, very, very similar to codependency in the sense that you always feel like you have to have someone or something, like you have to be in someone else's company. Okay, so we're not really focusing on ourselves. Okay, it's not that we're alone, we are lonely in that aspect. So that's not really the same thing. Okay, but I do think that's important. I'm going to, you know, kind of tie that up here in a minute. But anyway, you know, past experiences, I do want to share this though. Past experiences do shape loneliness, which can produce someone to be alone, and I'm going to go through that. Okay, basically, and what I mean by this is, you know, we've had past traumas or experiences in life, you know, such as rejection or, you know, abandonment or, you know, feeling unlovable, feeling, you know, unworthy, you know, just that sort of thing. Like maybe we're not quite, you know, enough, and that sucks, you know. And so as a result, really, this loneliness fuels us being alone, which is what I call solitude. Okay, and I'm gonna get to that too. But anyway, the idea kind of behind this here is that, okay, if I'm alone, nobody can hurt me, you know, and that's terrible. You know, you keep yourself from experiencing things because you don't want to be victimized again. Okay, and you know, that's kind of something that you have to, you know, kind of go through and, you know, deal with on your own. But basically, I'm going to kind of jump into the positive benefits here. Positive benefits of being alone. Basically, being alone is the hallmark and, you know, the cornerstone for personal development. It is a major factor in interpersonal relationships as well. So that's also something very, very important that, you know, we need to remember. Once you master, you know, the art of, in a healthy way, you know, being alone, you can hear and listen to your inner voice. You know, all those years and all, you know, and all the times that you've been blocking things out. Well, now you have the chance to get to know yourself better because you know yourself best. Okay, so take that time and kind of just, you know, figure out what exactly it is that you want out of life. Okay, so another thing too is that, you know, being alone, it is beneficial in the sense that it allows you to drop your social guard, your wall, you know, that it is built up. It is a freedom to self-reflect. Okay, and I think that's awesome. It can help you make better choices. It can help you, you know, make better decisions where there is no outside influence and it's just you. And I think that that's healthy to some degree, you know, you're consulting yourself because really at the end of the day, you are your own consultant. Okay. And I think that's awesome. This is also another critical factor too, you know, in romantic relationships, especially. It helps you really decide what's healthy, what you want and what you don't want in a relationship. And I think a lot of times, you know, people, they really don't know what they want. So they just kind of jump here and jump there and, you know, and they kind of overlook what they want, you know, inside this person, what's healthy for them. And, you know, and that sucks. Okay. Because really it's not real. You're doing it because you don't want to be alone. But anyhow, you know, take heed. And I do want to say this because I can't stress this enough. Take heed, because if you're afraid of being alone, like I just said, you are going to settle. You're going to settle for relationships. You are going to settle for, you know, subpar treatment, and you're really selling yourself short. You know, and I think that's sad for anyone to do. You know, bottom line though, you cannot have a healthy relationship with someone, or, you know, even if it's platonic, you know, friends or whatever, until you have a healthy relationship with yourself. Okay, so I do want to stress that. Another idea is, you know, being complete. Okay, well, being alone, what this does is this allows you full access to the complete person that you already are. Okay, now you just have you have an easier way to access yourself. Okay, maybe something that you didn't really know how to do, or, you know, maybe you've never really done it before, that sort of thing, but you are already complete. Okay, you don't look for that in an outside source. Okay, and I do want to say that, you know, and, you know, if being alone is new to you, start out small and kind of work up from there. You know, take a few minutes every day to just kind of self-reflect, that sort of thing. You know, it is healthy. It is beneficial. Now, I do want to say this. If being alone is your chosen lifestyle, okay, and what I mean by that is no partner, you know, no relationship, no, you know, anyone living with you, you know, that sort of thing. You're making your own decisions, you know, accepting your own responsibilities, paying your own bills, etc. You know, you can create a full life But the main question that you really need to ask yourself here is, if you had to, could you be in a meaningful relationship with yourself? You know, and I think that's a great question. I think it's a great, thing to ask ourselves, because I think a lot of us forget that, and if the answer is yes, spiritually, it can kind of awaken you a little bit, and it does kind of give you a deeper access into your inner being, like I said earlier, your inner voice kind of thing. I do want to jump over, like I said, to solitude. And much like alone time, solitude, it can be healthy, and it can be great, if used properly. Okay, but a lot of times, if you sort of use, solitude as like a crutch, it can overtake you. Okay, if you're not careful. It has great potential, but it also has great harm. So what I mean by this is, do not isolate yourself. Okay, do not, become an island, because no man is an island. Okay, there is a difference between solitude and alone time. And with solitude, more often than not, solitude is typically used as a defense mechanism. Okay, and like I said earlier, the idea is, okay, well, if I'm alone, I'm by myself, nobody can hurt me, that sort of thing. Don't use it as a crutch to not participate in life. Don't use it as a crutch to hide behind, emotions or, psychological tools that, maybe you were lacking. Okay, so go out there and try. Be mindful, but don't allow yourself to fall into that kind of trap, and it does suck, but do not allow yourself to get to this point, okay, because it will do more harm than good, okay? But anyway, and the thing about this too is defense mechanisms, they can be tricky. Okay, some of them are conscious, but some of them are subconscious, okay? And a couple of questions here that we really need to ask ourselves is, number one, could past childhood traumas, affect our participation in life? Were we not given enough, psychological and emotional, tools to develop our role and our place in the world? Or is there a possibility that we just do not know how to socially engage? Okay, the list goes on and on. So basically, I just want to get down to the point where solitude, it is implied isolation. Okay, it is a conscious choice. It is a decision that we make, but it is an imposed state. Okay, and what I mean by that is we avoid real human interaction, hiding behind solitude. And, that's terrible. So, but basically this increases, it's a decline in social happenings, okay? It allows people to then become socially awkward. Basically, your social engagements go down, okay? The social awkwardness goes up. And then what happens then? The perception of everyone else, of them, perceiving us to be deceptive, to be defective, that goes up. So the less we participate, the more, people's reflection is, oh, okay, their perception is, well, there must be something wrong with them, that sort of thing. And that sucks, because that's stereotyping. But basically the point being, the cycle ensues, if you don't address it properly. The good thing is, we can lean on solitude, in alone time, but do not rely on being alone, or do not rely on solitude for not participating in life because of your own perceived inabilities and or disabilities. Perceived, that's you, it's your perception. But anyway, like I said, start small and work your way up. You can't expect a happy or, perfect life or outcome, with anything or a partner if you don't even know who you are or what you want out of life, and I think that's fair to say. And another thing here too is, use and utilize your alone time, but don't hide behind it, okay? Because really what you're doing is, when you hide behind, your own solitude, your this alone time, whatever, it becomes easier and easier. And what you miss out on most besides life is you are giving away time, okay? And that's wasted time. And I do kind of want to close this out and say, the saddest thing in the world is that, at some point, time runs out. So, but anyway, you guys, that's what I have for today. And as always, join me tomorrow and we're going to have another great discussion then. Thank you. Bye.